You spoke earlier about prevention being cheaper than cure. Why is it, at least this is my opinion from the outside looking in, it seems to me that prevention, despite the fact that it might be cheaper, it seems to be harder to prioritize with respect to policy. Why do you think that that is?
Well, being a doctor, and I am a medical doctor, I think that when you're confronted with somebody who's sick, it's very hard to turn them away. I mean, you're ethically obliged to treat them. And I think that's how our whole health system is focused in a way. So all the health thing is about treating people. And funnily enough, I mean, personally, that's where I came from. I was working in primary healthcare. I worked in a clinic in Soweto. And I got so incredibly frustrated because we had these long queues of people. And yet most of what I was treating was preventable. So things like hypertension and diabetes and so on. And I just got really frustrated, which is why I moved into doing public health. But it's really, I think that, and if you discuss with people in the Department of Health, they will all tell you prevention is better than cure and more important, but they don't allocate any budget. And that is because they've got to treat the people that are already sick, and there isn't even enough budget to do that. So it's a difficult one. I mean, some countries. So in Australia, when the tobacco ban came in many years ago, what they did is they set up an organization called a Health Promotion Foundation. And that organization was funded by 1% of excise tax on tobacco. So they didn't take the health budget, they left the health budget alone, and they used that money to promote health. And what they did was they thought there might be a decrease in advertising revenue, there might be a decrease in sports sponsorship and so on, which the tobacco companies were doing. So they used that money to advertise healthy things. And they sponsored sports teams with healthy logos such as, I'm trying to think, I think it was condoms or, something healthy. And since then, the Health Promotion Foundation has been running, and it's been trying to promote health, looking at the prevention side rather than only on the cure side. So my belief after all these years of trying to get prevention on the agenda is that you have to have a separate funding stream for prevention. And it actually doesn't necessarily have to be controlled by the Department of Health. In fact, it's much better to be multidisciplinary and not in the Department of Health, separate from those health facilities. So that's sort of my thinking at the moment around why prevention is so hard to get on the agenda. The other part of it is that the objections, of course, of industry. So often this is saying, let's cut back on this, let's change how we do things industrial-wise. And the industry, of course, don't want to do it because it might impact their bottom line. So they have huge influence as well.